Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am Joby, the Natural Gearhead, and today we're working on my new project, my 1981 Chevy C10 that is now mine. I'm so glad to have a square body back here in the stables. We've been wanting one of these for quite a while. I've owned a bunch over the years, but you know, they have skyrocketed in price and they're just hard to come by. And we finally picked this thing up, but it's got a few issues. So we're gonna try in this episode to get this thing running good so we can hopefully get it closer to getting it back on the road, enjoying this thing and having a good time. So let's see if we can figure out what's wrong with it and get her dialed in. Stay tuned. It fires right up, so that's not a problem. It starts right up, and we didn't notice an issue until we went to drive it. When we went to drive it, it has like no power. It's definitely running not on 8 cylinders. Now, I don't know if it's a coil. I don't know if it's fuel. I'm not sure yet. So that's what we're gonna go in here and check and eval this thing and just give you an idea how to check it if you're having the same issue. So we'll get this thing fired up and I'll show you how I'm gonna check for spark first on all the coils, and then we'll check injectors next to see if the injectors are working. All right, let's get the hood open on this thing. So this was supposed to be a 6-liter when I went to go look at it. It obviously is not. Stamp 5.3 on the front of the block right here. The heads are 5.3 heads. It's a 5.3, not a 6.0. That was obviously not a deal breaker for me, but we definitely brought the price down. Now, this thing is running good at idle. I wouldn't say good, but it fires right up. So what I want to do first is check the coils, see if they're all working. If those are all good, we'll move on to injectors, and I'll show you an easy way to check that. And we'll go from there. So we'll get this thing fired up, and I'll show you how I'm going to check these real quick. One way to check the coils is to unplug it. If you look here, there's a plug. Don't unplug it here, because if it is working and you unplug this and your hand's there, that thing will arc to your finger. You do not want that. You can unplug it right here, right, and kill that coil. You should hear a tone change in the engine. But if your engine is not running great already, sometimes it's hard to decipher if it started running rougher, I guess you'd say. So this is the way I check it. It's real easy and quick. If you have a timing light, okay, you have the inductive pickup on here. Normally this would be on your #1 plug when you're doing your timing. What you can do, or what we're gonna do, is you'll just throw this on your battery, power up your timing light, and I'll go around and stick this on every spark plug wire. And this will get a signal, it'll show me RPM, it'll start flashing. You know that coil's firing. So it's just quick and easy. You don't have to unplug anything. You know for sure, like you're not sitting there wondering if it died down a little or not. You know for sure that it's firing or not firing. America, I like that. So, this thing has a race panel for racing use only. So, fuel pump power, and we got push button start. See, fires right up. I will just go on to every single plug, stick that inductive coil on there, the inductive pickup. It's showing your RPMs. We got the flash going, so we know that that's firing. Go to the next one. Takes a second. Got the signal. So let's go around every single one. So this will be number 8, the last one. It's got signal. So every one of our coils are firing. So that's good. I mean, that's good that they're firing. It's not good because we didn't find the problem yet. So next thing we're gonna do is check the injectors. So let me show you the next tool I'm gonna use for that. It's quick and easy. All right, so I shut it off for a quick second just so you can hear me again. So another thing I did check, and I didn't go over this, I did add a fuel pressure gauge on here just to check fuel rail pressure. And it is a little low, it's at 50, should be around 58, 60, something like that. We probably got a fuel filter that's plugged because these tanks were disgusting, which though it has dual tanks, and the one tank had a hole in it and then it was black gas coming out of there. So I'm assuming that when they went to fire this thing up to get it running again from sitting for so long, we probably got a filter that's clogging up, and we probably got an injector that's either stuck from sitting or got dirt in it, but we want to see if they're working. So I'm going to check that. One thing you can do, just like the coils, if you come over here, there's plugs So you can go around and unplug these one at a time and listen for a tone change in your engine. But again, if your engine's already running rough, it might be hard to determine if it's getting rougher or not. So how I'm gonna check it, get you what they call a mechanic stethoscope, okay? If you've never used one of these are great tools for finding all kinds of stuff. If you have a knock in the engine or a tapping in a lifter or anything like that, these are great tools. So what we'll do is you'll stick these in your ears, take this long rod here, and we'll stick it right at the base of that injector, you know, just right on the injector, on the side of it, and we'll listen. So these injectors, when they're running, they click, 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 you can hear them. So that you'll hear that clicking, and then you'll just unplug it. The clicking should go away, plug it back in, clicking comes right back. So that is a surefire way to know if these injectors are working or not working. Like I said, sometimes you unplug them, the engine's already running rough, it's hard to tell, or if you have a big cam or something, you're like, is it running rougher or not? This will tell you 100% that it's either working or not working. Now, it won't tell you if you have power there or not, but it will definitely tell you if it's working or not working. So let's fire it back up and start checking these. All right, I hear it clicking. No click. I know you can't hear it, but it's definitely clicking. So we'll move on to the next one. Set it on there, it's clicking, no click. I don't hear a click. No click. Put it back in, no click. This right here is a dead injector. So I'm gonna go check the other side real quick and see what it sounds like. All right, no click. No click, it's unplugged. Plug it in, no click. That one's dead too. That's 2 cylinders. I got some clicking here. Unplug it, goes away. Plug it in, it's clicking. Oh, my earpiece is coming out. There we go. All right, clicking. Unplug it, no click. So, all right, so these are all good here. Go to this last one right here. That one's definitely clicking. Unplug it, goes away. Plug it back in. That one's good. All right, so let's shut it off so you can hear me. We got 2 injectors in the back that are not working at all. So the rear 2 injectors, there's no clicking. It's with this right here, you can hear it, it's a dead giveaway. Just click, 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 a solid click. As soon as you unplug it, it goes away. So you know for sure that that's working. And you plug it back in, you'll hear it clicking again. Get to the back, I'm listening. I don't hear a click, but do you hear it or not? I don't know. Your brain plays tricks on you. Unplug it, sounds exactly the same. Plug it back in, nothing. So these are not working from sitting. They're probably stuck. Maybe not, it might be dead. Sometimes you can get them out and kind of knock on them a little, get them working again. Hopefully that's the case. But I also feel that the other injectors are like probably plugged up. You know, they probably got some stuff in them. So what I want to do is pull them all out. I got a fuel injector tester and a cleaner, and I'll show you how we're going to clean them and check them to make sure that they're all working and see if we can get those back to actually working. And we'll get them all cleaned and new O-rings on. We'll slam this back together and all should be good in theory, right? Because this thing didn't have barely enough power to get on the trailer, which is not good. So, and it's not smoking. We have good oil pressure. So those are all good things. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do next is get this fuel rail off and get these injectors out and we'll start testing. All right, so first thing you wanna do is I'm gonna take a blower and I'm just gonna blow this all out. See all that? There's trash in there. So you wanna blow all that out or vacuum it out because when you pull that rail, you don't want stuff going down in the holes, okay? So you'll need an 10 millimeter socket extension. I'm gonna use this ratchet and just come in and buzz these bolts out. So there's a bolt here, there's 2 on the other side, so 4 bolts all together to get this side off, and then this rail will pull out with the injectors. Just remember to unplug all your injectors before you yank it out and rip all the wires off. This particular model, you got a vacuum line, goes from the intake down to this little regulator, so you'll unplug that and get it out of the way. And then for the 2 bolts here, and then same thing, unplug all your injectors, get those unplugged, okay? Your fuel lines right here, you're gonna have to pop those off. Go ahead, get all that stuff off. The other thing is, we just ran this, so as you can see here on our gauge, we're still holding 20 PSI. So I just want you to be aware when you go to take those lines off, I have a gauge here, but you have a Schrader here. You can also put a rag over that, use a screwdriver, push in that Schrader, release the pressure. Or, since I'm not gonna take my gauge off, so I can't access it, I'm gonna come over here to the fuel line, and when I go do that fuel line, I'm just gonna take a rag, lay the rag over it, take my tool, pop that line off. Fuel is gonna spray, and it does have pressure, 20 PSI at the moment. So just want you to be aware of that. It's gonna make a mess, and you don't wanna spray yourself in the face, so make sure it's covered. So let me get going on this. All right, so pull your fuel lines towards the front of the truck to kind of pull the pressure off. And then I'm gonna start with this lower. So you'll pull the line when you do it, get your tool on there, pull the line towards you, get the press, see how it kind of moves, get the pressure off the fingers. So you'll pull it this way, slide your tool in, and then you'll slide the whole line and tool aft, and it'll pop right off. But I'm gonna cover it, so you're really not gonna be able to see it because there's gonna be fuel going everywhere. And I don't want to get it all over, so it does make it hard when you can't see what you're doing, but there it went. Slowly. Okay, so it's off. Fuel. Okay, that one's off, so then we'll get this lower. Here it comes. Oh, same thing, we're good. Sweet. So both lines are off. We'll get our 4 bolts out and pull this rail off. I'm also gonna just take this bracket off real quick for the throttle cable. And the reason I'm doing that is because when you pull the rail up, you could snake it around this, but I just wanna pull it up and take it right out. So I'm gonna pull this up, and that'll take the cable off, which you can disconnect it right here, but for some reason, I don't know what they got going on here, some circus stuff, but that is not gonna wanna come out of there. So I'll just take it off here, and then you just slide this around, and I'll pop the cable out, and that way it's out of my way, and we'll be good to go. So now you just kind of grab the fuel rail, wiggle it a little, feel it pull up, boom, boom, do the other side, boom, just wiggle it, should pop right out like that, and it'll come right up with your injectors. And there they are. Here's all your injectors. Boy, that's kind of nasty, ain't it? There's stuff already on there. Oh yeah. Oh, let's get this over here. We're leaking. We're leaking. So I got a bin here. So it's out of the way and safe. And then just take a rag and cover all these holes and make sure, oh, that's one thing I want to show you. Make sure that all your O-rings are still on your injectors here and that they didn't get left down in the intake, which those are all there. So that way it don't mess you up later. So now let's take some rags, lay it over top of these holes just to kind of protect it since it's sitting out here. Nothing goes down in there. Clean out anything else that's in here, like another one of these nuts. Okay, get that covered up. Sweet. We'll get this thing inside and I'll show you how I get the injectors off, and we'll start cleaning them and get them ready to put back in here and get this baby running like a top. On the inside of these fuel rails, you'll see that there's a clip inside here, and let me make sure you're seeing this. You can see the clip right here on the top of the injector. So let me just show you on the injector that is off real quick. Here's your injector that's off. This is where the fuel rail is. This is the clip that holds it on, and it sits right in this groove like that. So I'll show you how to get that off real quick. So you just take a flathead screwdriver like this guy here. You just come in right here in this gap, pulls right off like that. Boom, it's off. Now that the clip's off, you just take the injector there and you'll just kind of work it a little, just twist it, give it a little pull, and just work it gently. You don't want to be too rough with it. There it is. Pops right out like that. Make sure your O-ring came out with it. Let me get all these out and over here on my rag and set up, and then I'll get the testing tool and we'll go over that whole process. See, we got the fuel injectors laid out here real nice. You want to look inside your injectors at the fuel injector baskets if you're going to change those. I took a couple out already before you clean them. So inside where your fuel rail feeds the fuel, there's these little baskets. They're like strainers. Basically the fuel comes in here, it strains it, so that it doesn't get into the injector. Some people just remove those completely. But if you look inside my injectors, so let me see if we can get the focus going here. That is not good. You see all that? You see all that nasty stuff in there? That's bad. Not good. This is one that I pulled the basket out of. You can see how clean it is. We'll put a new basket down in there. This is another injector. See all that crud? Not good. Had a bunch of them like that. Look at that. So make sure you look down in there. Get those cleaned out and the baskets cleaned out. Hopefully these two injectors will start working again. We haven't got to that yet. Leave all the old O-rings on for the cleaning process. I'll leave the baskets out once I get them out for the cleaning process. And then when it's all clean, we'll put new baskets in, new O-rings in. These will be ready for install. Removing the baskets, I have a tool just like this. I even have it labeled LS Fuel Injector Basket Tool. So basically how this thing works is it has a screw in there. You screw it down inside to the basket. It'll essentially screw into the end of this, get it nice and tight, and then you'll turn this knob. If you watch that screw, it pulls it up and it'll just pull that basket right out of there, get it out of the way. And that way we can clean them all and then put new ones in, new gaskets, new O-rings, all that stuff, be ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and get the baskets out and then I'll show you the cleaning process. All right guys, so here's the setup for cleaning them. This little injector tester slash cleaner tool, it had on Amazon for, I think I paid $24 for this. It can test two injectors at the same time. It's got some leads on there, and these come pre-crimped, pre-shrink wrapped, everything ready to go. Get you a battery. You can use the one in the car or however you want, just something to hook up to power it, just 12 volts. That powers this up. You'll want a can of carb cleaner. This is just some Super Tech. This is about the cheapest stuff you can get. It dries really fast. It cleans really well. I really like this stuff, and it's cheap. So that'll be set up for that. It comes with these little adapters here. There's like 4 different ones in the kit. They have different size holes for different injectors. Here's our injector. So I'll slide this in and just kind of work it around. Now, here's the thing, guys. When you do this, okay, that's in there nice. This is, as soon as you get on here to clean this, this thing is going to pop out. So you're really going to have to hang on to that or try to zip tie it to it if you can't hold it. Because it's a little bit of an operation to do, honestly, with one hand. But so we'll go ahead and hook up these wires. You got 2 pins in here, and you hook these up to. It doesn't matter which one goes where. It could be positive, negative. Doesn't really matter. These slide on there real nice. Get you a positive, get you a negative, okay? And then if you want to test it just to see if the injector's working and just listen, I'll stick it up here by my microphone. You can probably hear it. I'll hit pulse. Hear that? So we know that that's working. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do, you don't want to run them dry for a long time like that. And you don't want to overrun these either because you don't want to overheat the injector or anything like that. So you'll stick this hole on the bottom of your adapter on top of your can. It'll push the carb cleaner up through here, into your injector. And when you push the pulse, it's going to make this spray the carb cleaner through the injector, and that's how it works. So you want to make sure you're on this really good, really squeezing on this injector to make sure it doesn't pop out of there. And then we'll push pulse, and I'll jam this thing down and hang on to it, and we should get some carb cleaner coming out the end. All right, here we go. See it spraying? Pulse, 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 pulse. Pull that off real quick, get a little bit of a spray. Shouldn't get it on the face of this module because it is not resistant. You can see that little drip on there. I already started to mess that up, so don't get it on this like I just did. All right, so we'll go through and clean these and make sure the spray patterns look good. And that one actually looked really good, so I think we're okay on this one. And then we'll pull these O-rings off and everything, get new O-rings on there and get these ready to install. So I'm gonna do the rest by myself, and then when I'm ready to start installing it in the fuel rail, I'll get back to you. So I got them all cleaned. We got new caps on here, new O-ring here and a new O-ring here. New filter baskets are pressed inside. Now the 2 injectors, this one and this one, the 2 rear injectors that were not working, I was able to get those working again by putting the power to it, pushing the pulse, and just tapping on them. Got them tapping. So there's a solenoid in here, and just like a starter solenoid or any solenoid, it can get stuck. And you've seen how nasty these were inside. So that varnish and everything got in there, and it'll make that solenoid stick. So if you're able to spray your cleaner, get some power on there, start tapping it, cleaner, tapping on it, power, cleaner, just keep repeating, rinse and repeat. It'll eventually, if it's still good, loosen up and start working again. So both of these are working fine now. I went ahead and put the new baskets in, like I said, no rings and everything, and these little plastic caps. These plastic caps, you just pop them off. I used a screwdriver, and then put your new O-ring on, and I take the new cap, stick it on there, and just press it down, boop, on a table, clicks right on, new O-ring there. So now these are ready to install. Take some silicone, a little bit of silicone lubricant, and put on here. So what I'm gonna do is lubricate these O-rings just on the fuel rail side for now, and go ahead and get them started in the fuel rail, get the clips on, and get them installed in the fuel rail. You want your plug facing outboard, and you just kind of gently stick it in there, just like that. Take your clip, slide it in right underneath there, and just get it all lined up. Just give it a push, should go on by hand. See, it's in that groove right there. Around a little bit if you need to line it up once it's in there. When we get ready to pop it into the intake, I'll lubricate these O-rings, and then we'll drop it right in the intake. So let me get the rest of these fuel injectors installed in the fuel rail, and we'll get it over to the truck. We got all our O-rings lubed up, got our fuel rail in the position that we like. We cleaned out the intake ports, so that's all ready to go. So you'll just have to bring this in and line her up with all your holes. Just be careful of all your stuff here. Just get it close. Start dropping them in. I'm pretty tight back in here. And get it back in there and dropped in. Okay, that's looking good so far. So once she's lined up, you just kind of push them down into place. Slides in real nice. Boom, real nice like that. And then we'll get all our injectors plugged back in. Go ahead and put those 4 screws back in real quick. Hook up our vacuum. I can do that right now, it's quick. And we'll be just about ready. Everything's tight. The only thing I did not connect is my fuel lines. The reason for that is after seeing how much nasty stuff is in these injectors and getting them all clean, I want to make sure that not just the lines are clean. I'll probably run them into a bucket, but I need to find the fuel filter, replace that, make sure the lines are cleaned out, and then I'll hook it up, and then we'll light this baby off. All right, so here's where we're at. I jacked the side of the truck up, got under there, checked the fuel run, and I did find a fuel filter, a pre-filter. It's got an inline pump. It's on the frame rail. It had a pre-filter, so I went ahead, changed that out. I actually installed a post filter after also, put in a couple quick disconnects, put in a nice filter there. Then I flushed out the fuel line. When I cut it for the new filter, I back flushed it down with carb cleaner, put it in, then flushed it into a bucket, made sure the fuel run is coming out clean. It was coming out clean, good to go. Hooked it all back up. Now ready to fire it up and see if it has any power. So let's do it. All right, let's get in here and see what she does. Fire this baby up. Fuel pump on. Fire it up. Well, that's good. Fires right up still. No problem there. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see if she's got the power. Well, no, pretty much right away. Let's rev it up in neutral first. Still has that kind of roughness to it. Back it up a little bit. Yeah, definitely. The brakes are sticking. The front brakes are definitely sticking. I'm gonna have to fix that. No, that is not. It's still running really rough. Yep, so not fixed. So I guess I'm gonna have to continue to evaluate. It's definitely, that brake sticking is terrible. Man, that thing like wants to do a brake stand the whole time. But it doesn't have, it just barely has any power. It's just running rough, so gotta get this figured out. I need to check the spark plugs, plug wires. I've already checked the coils. We know they're firing, but I haven't actually pulled the plugs yet on this thing. Like I said, this is a brand new truck here to me, so I'm still getting the bugs worked out, but it is a pretty cool truck. And I think we're ending the video right there because I am out of time and exhausted on this thing. Speaking of exhausted, kind of stinks a little bit. But hey, I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for more updates and stuff on this truck here. Hopefully you learned something about cleaning some fuel injectors on an LS motor, and that'll help you in the future or give you an idea what to look for and how to do it. So thanks again. See you in the next one.